Hello there, I'm here today to help you understand the key components in content governance. This will help you and your team govern your content to keep your projects running smoothly. Content governance can be broken down into four lifecycle stages as you see here. First one is request. To request is to understand the education, purpose, resource, and success criteria for your content. Create is where we determine access and workflow for the content. The manage phase is where we understand the ownership and review the cycles of the content. And when we retire content, we act on thresholds established from the request stage to eliminate expired content and archive other content. We're also going to take a look at the why, how, and the impact of these various stages when dealing with your content. Starting with the first phase, the request phase. During this phase, it's important to get details and information on ownership, business purposes, prerequisite education, and resources that will be needed to execute your project and determine a successful criteria. Number one here, ownership. Why do we need it? Well, without ownership, we would not be able to track who is associated with the content or who has been working with the content. Metadata can be assigned to the content, informing you who is responsible for various content. End user ability can be maximized by running native reports on metadata to determine success criteria, which in turn makes content easier and faster to locate due to a smaller collection. Second here is a business purpose. Here basically we want to find out whether content is relevant to the company goals and purposes. By using simple online forms, we can collect and workflow the requests to the proper departments dealing with the content, and this helps us minimize the amounts of content that doesn't really have value to the company, so we can get rid of anything that doesn't adhere to company goals or timelines. Prerequisites, educational resources needed. This step simply determines what resources are needed to complete the project, as well as how much time will need to be allocated towards it. And finally, the success criteria. Well, is this project going to reach its goals? This step ensures the flow of the project and its content in order to determine if it can reach the intended goals. Reviews can be set up to compare the project at certain points in time against its original outline, ensuring projects do not exist past their useful lifespans. This also helps to eliminate useless content as well. Okay, moving on to the create phase. Basically here we're determining who has access to the project. We want to maximize efficiency, and the best way to do that is only have certain people working on a particular project. Again, metadata can be used to limit users of a project and set security assignments in parent folders. This also allows for those doing the work easy access and searchability to find the content that they're looking for that has the appropriate metadata labeling. We're also here to, in this stage, assign workflow. This may vary from project to project, but basically it ensures the content is conforming to particular requirements like editorial, legal, and managerial. Again, this can be assigned through the metadata, telling users who, what, and when the project was created. Okay, moving on to manage phase. Basically here we are updating existing content and any metadata associated with it, particularly the ownership. There are often shifts in ownership of content when a creator leaves a company or moves to a different position. the content has to be changed to reflect new ownership. Also, through updating the content ownership, it's recommended basically every quarter to keep search and repository collections clean and running smoothly. Okay, and our final phase is retire. Depending on how the metadata was assigned in the request phase, you hopefully won't have trouble archiving content at this point. If done right, content creators will have to be tracked down and all the necessary information will be present from the metadata created during the request phase. So things will be labeled correctly and we'll know who did what, where, and when. We also want to act on metrics established during this request phase. Again, any content that at this point does not meet required criteria for the project plan, it can be considered for deletion to ensure end users relevant access to your information. Certain content that is relevant should be retired at this point. Keeping content clean and properly labeled through metadata from the request phase allows content to be accessible and relevant for long periods of time. And there we have it. Take care.